Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily and today I'm going to do a flip through of this scrapbooking journal and talk about the changes that I needed to make towards the end, and also the things I learned from working in this journal. It is a hardcover and I made it using a packaging box such as this one, and I just covered it with papers from Vicky Bouton's Flower Emporium, which was the first collection she made with 49er Market. The collections used in this one are different, and we'll talk about that as I progress through the journal. The measurements for this is almost 8.5 across, just over 10 down, and the spine is just over 2. For those of you that remember this journal when I first shared it, there were 4 signatures. Towards the end, I needed to make the decision to cut it down to 3, because as you can see, it's quite chunky and I didn't want the alligator mouth. And it was also becoming very hard to work in. And I still wanted to use the cover because I had contemplated that I would just decorate another cover and then use this one for, say, another day. I added some book cloth to the outside and inside of my cover, so then I could repunch the holes and it would still look quite pleasing to the eye. I added the lace back on just for decorative purposes. I just used the pattern paper on the front and back as the decoration. I didn't want to go elaborate with the layers and things. It's just something that I chose not to do. On the inside, I added a library pocket and I've got the dates. So our memories from January to July last year. I've got 3 signatures in this book now with varying signatures, because I had to work with what I already had done, and because I'm a chronological scrapbooker and I tend to like doing my layouts that way, I was restricted to what signatures I had already done. So the first signature, we have got 6 pages, which ended up being 19 layouts. Now the first layouts in this journal are not my favourite. I was finding my feet, learning what I liked and what I didn't like. I did use sketches to help me create my layouts, and you will notice at the beginning I have got different collections for each layout. This one would have been inspired by pebbles. Now my sketches that I would have used would have been either scrapper sketch, page maps. I also enjoy the sketches from 30 Days of Sketches. And my thought process for the beginning was I would have a 12-inch surface to work on across and 10 down. So it would almost be the same sizes of a 12 by 12. You will notice as it goes on, I find my groove and things change. And this is where it changes, and I develop a style that I actually like. Having the 4 pages, it reminds me of a notebook. I like that I'm pulling out collections that match what I am documenting. So we're at the middle of the signature here. Moving into February. Starting March. Here is where I decided to go with collection obsession, so using 1 collection per month and using that for the consecutive layouts that I was doing in this journal. So this one would have been uniquely creative, and I started to add the tabs here, which I do like. I also wanted to do flips. This one is a flip out. Which I quite enjoy. I decided to do a pocket for this one and added some tabs to make like mini folders. I still need to do the journaling here. Moving into April and the next signature, there are only 4 pages to this signature, and I still managed to get 20 layouts. you will see why when I flip the pages. I still like the tab, so I kept that on this as I moved through the journal. Still using sketches for page design. And I believe, because we're also changing season here, we've got a different colours. This would have been Cocoa Vanilla Heart and Home. And this is where my pages start becoming interactive and where the journal becomes thick, and I get a lot of photos here. So this was inspired by Joey. I've linked her channel before. I can link her again. So I'm counting this as a layout. I've got to flip out. So I've got two layouts here. Hidden journaling on this one. And then I flip this one the other way to reveal a nice spread for embellishments. I'm just being careful here because there are photos with people's faces in. This one pretty much comes out. In here I've just got some tags and a 4x6 journaling card just to add some colour and interest. And at the back I have got the guide and more photos. This just pulls out. This one flips out. And then we're moving into June with winter. This is Simple Stories Flea Market. I absolutely loved playing with this collection. At the middle of the signature now with a double page spread. Then this is the beginning of the trip, and I used uniquely creative field notes for this one. And I still need to do the journaling. This one flips out. Turning over. This one also flips out. And I wanted to keep the same sort of pattern so it's cohesive from page to page. I decided to go with the interactiveness as shown before. The pattern is just going the other way. So this one flips out. Got a pocket. Journaling will go here. This flips open. I do have to stretch this, otherwise the edge and the tab gets hooked up underneath. Got more photos here. More photos here. I enjoy creating this. It just adds a lot of bulk to the journal. And on the next signature, I've just glued 2 of the pages together so I could keep the memorabilia for the trip close by. As you can see, there is quite some bulk there now. And this is where I made the decision to go from 4 signatures down to 3. And I also thought, keeping in mind this last signature is going to have to be quite skinny, so I just did 2 more layouts to finish out July. So we got Jamie's birthday, and then also Ozzy Osbourne. I want to document his life. And that is the end. I know I spoke earlier about almost not completing this, and it was due to the fact that it had become so bulky. And once I had repunched the holes, stitched the signatures back in, and then came to the decision that I would just do a couple more layouts just to get the month finished, I could then start a new journal. I like the size of this, and at some point I may make another journal like this. The lessons I learned is that I liked these full pages. I liked the tabs. I liked the flip outs. I do like this setup here. I just need to be more conscious of how much bulk it adds. See, that's the full page, which may not be a lot. I do think you have to be mindful of placement of these though, because it does make it hard when you're working in on this side of the page as you keep working through the journal. I have started another journal and I'll give you a sneak peek of what that one is looking like. This is my next journal. It is an accordion style. You may remember me making one some time ago and I didn't finish it. My thoughts on why I didn't, maybe these little flips. So I'm just going to go back to basics and just work on the pages that I have in this journal, not adding any others and seeing where it takes me. The pages are the exact same size as this journal. Which is actually 8 across, just over 10 down, and it's quite skinny at the moment with only saying about ½ an inch. I have got 18 pages in total in this journal, which will take me to the end of the year. I have got a few extra pages just to allow for expansion. I have not taken into consideration Christmas because you may remember I had already documented Christmas from the stand, so I can just maybe add a few of my favourite photos to complete the year in this one, if there is room for it. I repurpose the pages from the signature that I removed from this journal. You will see at the beginning there is a bit of a mismatch. However, most of the papers are from Simple Stories, Simple Vintage, Life in Bloom. And I'm quite excited to be playing with it because I've got a few layouts done and I'm really happy with the colour scheme and how it's coming together. The sketches I decided to go with for this round is from Page Maps and it's from March, and you will see snippets from the page. So this one would be from here with the border across the top. This one here I think I'll let the photos decide, because as you can see, I've got one 6x4 and two 3x4s in different orientations. This one here, I also just pulled out some of the die cuts that I already had that would match the colours of this collection. I still need to do journaling on this. I'm enjoying having this journal spread out and being able to work on a flat surface. And as you can see, I haven't added any enamel dots or any embellishments that have some dimension. If I feel it needs it, I'll add it at the end where I'm not trying to work in a journal. I've got a double page spread on this one. And I decided to use the 2x2s as an inspiration, and I just had it going along the bottom of the layout to match the photos. And these photos show the complete length of this garden. This is where I'm up to. The solid colours are from Beaverland Sketchbook. I don't have much of the Life in Bloom. I didn't buy the full collection, so I've just added other papers to help bring the pages along. This is the end of this side. This is Simple Stories, Simple Vintage Indigo Garden. And when I flip the other way, I've got my papers already to create. I do need to do a bit of a cover up here. When I was trimming my paper, the glue wasn't quite dry and my blade was quite blunt, so it's ripped the page down here. I'm not sure if I had mentioned it already. What I'm using to help embellish this one is I have the ephemera bits from 49er Market Kaleidoscope. the colours work really well. And I also have all my papers here from the collection and Simple Vintage Indigo Garden. I'm looking forward to using the one colour scheme in this journal. It's going to be interesting to see how this one comes along, and I look forward to coming back and showing you what the journal ends up looking like. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.